Srila Prabhupada ki. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Irvishesha Shunjavari Paschacha Deshatarine Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev. Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva. Nitai Chaitanya Chandra, Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra, Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Damodara, Jaya Damodara, Jaya Damodara, Jaya Damodara. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarajakacharya Stotara Sata Sri Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarajakacharya Stotara Sata Sri Srimada's Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon Guru Vrinda Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Gangamaya Ki Jai. Yamunamaya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Nilamadava Ki Jai. Samabeta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to C. Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So I'm here because Chaitanya Prabhu is out of town on emergency, so I've been asked to give this class today. And I have the blessings of Saranga Thakur Prabhu also, so I think I'm bona fide. It keeps coming down here. You have to tighten it. I don't have energy to. Kartals. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Srila Gurudev ki, Ananta Kodi Vaishnavinda ki, Jai Nitai Gopremanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhidreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So we are into a new canto, Canto 7, and new chapter of Canto 7, Chapter 11. The verses assigned are from 8 to 12, and on the board will be verse number 12, yes. It's not, okay, you're going to do it, okay. Verse 12. So I'm going to read the first 4 verses. I guess the format is we read the verses and the last verse we will repeat as usual. So I'm going to quickly, because of want of time, I'm going to read through the Sanskrit first and then the last verse we will repeat as usual. So, Satyam Daya Tapa Saucham Titiksheksha Samodamaha Ahimsa Brahmacharyam Cha Tyaga Swadhyaya Ajavam Santosha Samadrik Seva Gramyo Paramaha Sanahi Nirnan Viparya Eksha Maunam Atma Vimarshanam Annadya Deha Samvibago Bhutebhyascha Yatarataha Teshavatma Devata Buddhihi Sutaram Nirshu Pandava Shravanam Kirtanam Chasya Smaranam Mahatam Gatehe Sevya Javanati Dashyam Sakyam Atma Samarpanam. This is verse 12. Nirnanayam Paro Dharmaha Sarvesham Samudaritaha Trimsallakshanavan Rajan Sarvatma yena tushyati. Please repeat. Namayam paro dharmaha Sarvesham samudhartaha Trimshallakshanavan Rajan Sarvatma yena tushyati. Nirnamayam paro dharmaha Sarvesham samudharitaha Trimshallakshanavan Rajan Sarvatma yena tusyati. Nirnamayam paro dharmaha Sarvesham samudharitaha Trimshallakshanavan Rajan Sarvatma yena tushyati. Nirnamayam paro dharmaha Sarvesham samudhartaha Trimshallakshanavan Rajan Sarvatma yena tushyati. Any Vaishnavis? Nirnamayam paro dharmaha Sarvesham samudharitaha Trimshallakshanavan Rajan sarvatmayena tusyati. Satyam, please repeat. Speaking the truth without distortion or deviation. Daya, sympathy to everyone's suffering. Tapaha, austerities such as observing fasts at least twice in a month on the day of Ekadashi. Saucham, cleanliness, bathing regularly at least twice a day, morning and evening, and remembering to chant the holy name of God. Titiksha, toleration, being unagitated by seasonal changes or inconvenient circumstances. Iksha, distinguishing between good and bad. Samaha, control of the mind, not allowing the mind to act whimsically. Damaha, control of the senses, not allowing the senses to act without control. Ahimsa, non-violence, not subjecting any living entity to the threefold miseries. Brahmacharyam, continence or abstaining from misuse of one's semen, not indulging in sex with women other than one's own wife, and not having sex with one's own wife when sex is forbidden, like during the period of menstruation. Cha and tyagaha, giving in charity at least 50% of one's income. Swadhyayaha, reading of transcendental literatures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana and Mahabharata, or for those not in Vedic culture, reading of the Bible or Quran. Arjavam, simplicity, freedom from mental duplicity. Santoshaha, being satisfied with that which is available without severe endeavor. Samadrik seva, rendering service to saintly persons who make no distinctions between one living being and another, and who see every living being as a spirit soul. Panditaha samadarshinaha, gramiya iha uparamaha, not taking part in so-called philanthropic activities. Sanahi, gradually, nirnam, in human society, viparyaya iha, the unnecessary activities. Iksha, discussing. Maunam, being grave and silent. Atma, into the self. Vimarshanam, research as to whether one is the body or the soul. Anadya adehe, of food and drink, etc. Samvibhagaha, equal distribution. Bhutebhyaha, to different living entities. Cha, also. Yata arhataha, as befitting. Teshu, all living entities. Atma devata buddhihi, accepting as the self or the demigods. Sutaram, preliminarily, Nirshu, among all human beings. Pandava, O Maharaj Yudhishthira, Shravanam, hearing. Kirtanam, chanting. Cha, also Asya, of him the Lord. Smaranam, remembering his words and activities. Mahatam, of great saintly persons. Gatehe, who is the shelter. Seva, service. Ijya, worship. Avanatihi, offering obeisances. Dasyam, accepting the service. Sakyam, to consider as a friend. Atma samarpanam, surrendering one's whole self. Nirnam, of all human beings. I am this. Paraha, the supermost. Dharmaha, religious principle. Sarvesham, of all. Samudharitaha, described fully. Trimshat lakshanavan, possessing 30 characteristics. Rajan, O king. Sarvatma, the supreme lord, the super soul of all. Ena, by which Tushyati is satisfied. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay. Translation. These are the general principles to be followed by all human beings. Truthfulness, mercy, austerity, observing fasts on certain days of the month, bathing twice a day, tolerance, discrimination between right and wrong, control of the mind, control of the senses, non-violence, celibacy, charity, reading of scripture, simplicity, satisfaction, rendering service to saintly persons, gradually taking leave of unnecessary engagements, observing the futility of the unnecessary activities of human society, remaining silent and grave, and avoiding unnecessary talk, considering whether one is the body or the soul, distributing food equally to all living entities, both men and animals, seeing every soul, especially in the human form, as a part of the Supreme Lord, hearing about the activities and instructions given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of the saintly persons, chanting about these activities and instructions, always remembering these activities and instructions, trying to render service, performing worship, offering obeisances, becoming a servant, becoming a friend, and surrendering one's whole self. O King Yudhishthira, these 30 qualifications must be acquired in the human form of life. Simply by acquiring these qualifications, one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. Anybody wants to read? Or is it the format?
In order that human beings be distinct from animals, the great saint Narada recommends that every human being be educated in terms of the above-mentioned 30 qualifications. Nowadays, there is a propaganda everywhere, all over the world, for a secular state, a state interested only in mundane activities. But if the citizens of the state are not educated in the above-mentioned good qualities, how can there be happiness? For example, if the total populace is untruthful, how can the state be happy? Therefore, without consideration of one's belonging to a sectarian religion, whether Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or any other sect, everyone should be taught to become truthful. Similarly, everyone should be taught to be merciful, and everyone should observe fasting on certain days of the month. Everyone should bathe twice a day, cleanse his teeth and body externally, and cleanse his mind internally by remembering the holy name of the Lord. The Lord is one, whether one is Hindu, Muslim, or Christian. Therefore, one should chant the holy name of the Lord, regardless of differences in linguistic pronunciation. Also, everyone should be taught to be very careful not to discharge semen unnecessarily. This is very important for all the human beings. If semen is not discharged unnecessarily, one becomes extremely strong in memory, determination, activity, and the vitality of one's bodily energy. Everyone should also be taught to be simple in thought and feeling and satisfied in body and mind. These are the general qualifications of a human being. There is no question of a secular state or an ecclesiastical state. Unless one is educated in the above-mentioned 30 qualities, there cannot be any peace. Ultimately, it is recommended, Shravanam Kirtanam Chasya Smaranam Mahatman Gatehe Seve javanteri sakhyam atma samarpanam. Everyone should become a devotee of the Lord, because by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one automatically acquires all other qualities. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata kinchana sarver gunes tatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna manorathena satidhavato bahihi. If one who has unflinching devotion service to Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications, because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Bhagavatam 5:18-12. Our Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, is all-embracing. Human civilization should take it very seriously and practice its principles for the peace of the world.
Thank you. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai Shri Gurudev ki, Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. I offer my humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes, which were blinded with the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanya Ishwaram. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, the deliverer of fallen souls, whose mercy has turned the dumb into eloquent speakers and enabled the lame to cross mountains. Vancha kalpatarubhyoscha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtaita Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. So we are on this Canto 7. So this is a Science of God. It's a very wonderful and profound canto, and it begins with Sukadev Goswami answering two questions of Parikshit Maharaj. Do you all remember those two questions that started the canto? So Parikshit Maharaj asked, go ahead. Yes, yeah. But what is the essence of that question?
How does someone so rascal get such a nice result?
Right. Yeah, yes. But there's also another important reason why Parikshit Maharaj asked that question. He was saying why it appears the Supreme Lord is partial. Because just for the sake of Indra, he was killing these demons, left, right? He was just killing all of them. But Supreme Lord is supposed to be the maintainer and protector of everyone. So that was Parikshit Maharaj's question, is he partial? So Sukadev Goswami refutes all these arguments, and then he gives the example of Shishupal, like you rightly said, that even though he was so inimical to Krishna from his very childhood, he attained salvation. Right? Isn't it amazing? So that proves that Krishna is, or the Supreme Lord Krishna, is not partial. So then Sukadev Goswami proceeds to give vivid examples of Shishupal. And where does the conversation happen? Yes, Yudhishthira Maharaj and? Yes, Narada Muni, Narada Muni does the narration. So until the 10th chapter of this canto, Narada Muni narrates the story of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. Yeah? So in chapter 11, Yudhishthira Maharaj is very pleased with the narrations of Prahlad Maharaj. And he is also seeing the exalted devotion of Lord Nrsimhadev. He had for, right? And so now he's interested in what are the principles of religion or actual religion of a human being by which one can attain the ultimate goal of life. So what is the ultimate goal of life that Prahlad Maharaj so much exemplified? What is the ultimate goal of life? Yes, remembering for? Yes, devotional service, yes. For devotional service. That's the ultimate. So in this chapter, Narada Muni is going to describe the special characteristics of Varnashrama Dharma also. Right? So he's going to talk about the principles that must be followed by every human being, and also a social framework, if you will, which is Varnashrama Dharma. We're going to touch upon these as time permits. So I want to discuss some key learnings that came to my attention when I went through this chapter specifically, and I see that we started off with verses 8 to 12. But the previous verses, I think we do a self-reading, I guess, on our own. But on text 5, it says, when Maharaj Yudhishthira asked Narada Muni about these matters, which matters? About the principles of religion and the Varnashrama Dharma. Narada Muni stopped giving his own statements and quoted statements by Lord Narayana, for he is the supreme authority for giving religious codes. In the summary of the chapter, he quotes this verse, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitham, which means Supreme Lord Narayana is the authority for giving religious code. So what comes to your mind when you hear this statement from exalted devotee like Narada Muni? Exalted, and he's saying, I'm not going to speculate anymore, I depend on, right from the mouth of Lord Narayana. Those are the words used in this chapter. What pops up? What do you think that comes to your mind at once, immediately when you hear this statement from Narada Muni?
I think I should read a little more so I know what Krishna says directly and I can quote that rather than speculating.
Yes. So which is, we come under the? Yes, parampara, disciplic succession. So we don't have any authority. And what is Narada Muni himself is saying, I don't want to speculate anymore, I'm going to talk about what Narayana himself said. So this is perfect, right? This is the perfect parampara or disciplic succession principle, right? So there are two types of acquiring knowledge. Anybody know what are the two types? So which is good? Avaroha, Aroha? Avaroha is descending. Aroha is ascending. Right? So why? Let's look at what Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada is saying this. Our process of accepting knowledge is the parampara system. Yes? Narada Muni, big example. Avaroha pantaha, that is descending. There are two ways of acquiring knowledge. Aroha pantaha, avaroha pantaha. Knowledge coming from the authorities, that is perfect knowledge. And knowledge acquired by experimental knowledge, that is not perfect. Because we are imperfect. Our senses are imperfect. We all know that, right? Prabhupada goes on to say, it's very powerful. There are two processes of knowledge, ascending and descending. Ascending means trying to go high by our own strength. And descending means the pure knowledge which comes from up. You receive it. Inductive and deductive process. So ascending process is not recommended in the Vedic process of knowledge. Vedic way of receiving knowledge by oral reception. Prabhupada qualifies it by submissive oral reception from the spiritual master to the student. This is the way. Prabhupada finishes off saying, Jai Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki, Jai Shri Radha Giridhari Giri Govardhan ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Chandra Nitai Chaitanya Chandra ki, Jai. So, any comments on up to so far? Ascending, descending knowledge, avaroha and aroha panta, very clear, right? So let's get into these qualities. And in today's verse, if you see, there is one word used, dharmaha. Do you notice that? In today's verse, let me quickly go there. It says, Nirnanayam paro dharmaha. You all remember any other verse that goes with paro dharma? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshade ayatuki aprati yatha yayatma suprasidati. There, paro dharma is spiritual. Here, paro dharma is about acquiring human qualities, right? So what does word dharma mean? Any takers? Dharma is a very complicated and confused or misrepresented word all over. Dharma is a multivalent word. What does multivalent mean? Many meanings. Yeah, you had something to say, Prabhu?
What popped in my head, what is Dharma, is what I should do. I figured that was very encompassing.
Yes. Can you qualify it a little bit more? What I should do is what? It becomes your
occupation.
Occupation, but there's one more. Duty, yes.
Duty,
Duty. So what was Arjuna's duty as a warrior?
Fight.
So in Bhagavad Gita, if you see that in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma is mostly used in the sense of social duty. If you look at all those chapters, you can see that these are the duties you should do, Arjuna. These are the duties you should do. He specifies, Krishna specifies. So in Bhagavad Gita, most of it is sense of social duty. As opposed to Bhagavatam, Paro Dharma is Savai Pumsam Yato Bhakti Radokshaje. Right? Complete love and service to Supreme. So that's Dharma, that's the highest standard. But the Dharma that we talk about here in general is Vidyarthi Dharma. You're a student. What is your Dharma? Studying and preaching. I mean, you all do it so well. You all go to so many festivals. I see Gandiva there chanting the other day. And that's Vidyarthi Dharma, right? Student, you're a student and that's what you do. Pati Dharma, I'm a husband. By the way, I'm not a very good husband, but what is my Dharma? My duty is to support my wife, my family, right? Grahastha Dharma, I'm a householder. What are my duties? Protecting children, right? Providing. Also, it can also be, if you belong to a particular psychophysical nature, right? Then the duties associated with that psychophysical nature is also Dharma. Agreed? So different definitions of Dharma, right? From a spiritual perspective, the topmost Dharma that we just saw, Paro Dharma, is that which helps us to, develop love and serve God. Right? So what is the core in us? The body or the soul? The soul, which is the core of its own nature, what is the Dharma of the soul? Love and serve God. Develop love for God, right? So that Dharma is called Sanatana Dharma. That is eternal. Everyone should follow it. But the Dharma by itself can be anything. Right? So Dharma essentially means that activity that harmonizes with our nature. Right? What is our nature? A spiritual master can tell us. But then based on our nature, we come into this Varnashrama system. It's a very important concept. Varnashrama is so important that it can help us understand our nature and go accordingly, advance in spiritual life. Right? So from a transcendental perspective, Dharma is that helps us develop love of God. Everyone agree with that? What to speak of this? Even the religion we are born in. You are born Christian, right, Prabhu? I was born Hindu and maybe a Muslim, whatever. But they have certain religious duties, right? I used to be a Christian, half Christian earlier too. I used to go to church and take communion, go to masses, go to Christmas carols. I did some of those duties. That was some Dharma I did. Was it permanent? No. Are you permanent? No, you came and now we are following what is called, which Dharma? Sanatan Dharma. So any other Dharma, so the word Dharma itself is not a problem, but how we interpret it. If Dharma is just reduced to just these duties associated with a particular feature of religion or nationality or whatever, then that understanding is gross. That's the wrong understanding of Dharma, right? So the essential meaning of Dharma at the core, the nature of the soul, is to love and serve God. Sanatana Dharma. It's nothing wrong in having the duties, the Dharma by per se, being a Pati Dharma, Kula Dharma, National Dharma, you can call it whatever, your basketball Dharma, right? Whatever you do, those Dharma are there, but it's temporary, right? It's not going to, those Dharma are not going to help us develop love for God. They might in certain ways, but as devotees we go play some games, yeah, maybe. But by itself, it's not going to help us in any way, right? So today's verse emphasizes 30 qualities. that must be acquired in the human form of life. Prabhupada says in text 30, the next verse, very heavy statement, a human being must be trained in the above mentioned 30 qualities. Otherwise, he is not even a human being. Which means, leave it to your guesses. So this brings back one memory of, I was hearing something about His Holiness Radha Govind Das Goswami Maharaj. Do you all know him? Very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Nayanamrita Prabhu's Guru Maharaj. Well, he wanted to get initiated in India, and it's a pre-initiation talk, and his Prabhupada disciples told him, Prabhu, you have to follow the 4 regs. Maharaj was surprised. 4 regs? What are these 4 regs? He said, meat eating and talking. He said, Maharaj said, he was so surprised, and he was like crestfallen. He said, these 4 regs? This is what every human should follow. See the gravity of that? Every human should follow. He said, I'm not going to say this in my initiation. Why should I? It is understood, being a human being, you need to follow these 4 regs. I remember when I got initiated, I was boasting with my friends and family. See, I'm doing my 4 regs now. But then, now I understand, it is just a pre-qualification to even to be considered a human being. What to speak of spiritual life? So Maharaj was trained in a Vaishnava family. That was ingrained in his training. It was not to be told separately. So that's the extent of our society that we are living in right now. If you can just step back and think about what's happening all around, we'll know. So let's discuss some of these qualities, just another 15 minutes. So in today's verse, the first 4 qualities. Gandiva, can you please? Yeah. So what are those first 4 qualities? Can someone read? No, I want to try the English.
Truthfulness, mercy, austerity, observing fast on certain days of the month, bathing twice a day.
Okay, yeah. So these 4 principles are core to the Vedic standard. Canto 1, chapter 17, clue, a bull. Any ideas? They call the 4 pillars, 4 legs of the bull, right? So those 4 are right away popped up there in the beginning of the verse. And these 4 also relate to the 4 regs. Agreed? Yes? Truthfulness is which reg? Mercy is which reg? No meat eating. Yeah. Austerity is which reg? No intoxication. And finally, the whole world is going after cleanliness is illicit sex. There you go. Right there, the first 4. And if you look at the remaining 24, these 4 qualities, and 26, they all can fit into any of these 4. You can just look at it, step back and think. And I'm just being innovative here, but I just wanted to emphasize on these 4 qualities in the interest of time. So let's do a quick roll check on this. So the austerity, when was it lost? Which yuga was the austerity lost? There are 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yuga. Austerity was lost in Satya Yuga. Yeah, but then it diminishes like that. Yeah, I'm just doing like a compartmentalized version of it. You know, it might slip here and there, but I'm just giving you the standard version, what we discussed. Austerity is gone, or it's been diminishing, like he said, in Satya Yuga. Cleanliness in next Yuga, Treta Yuga. Mercy is Dwapara Yuga. Truthfulness, is it there completely? Diminishing, yeah. So austerity was destroyed because of why? Why? Because of what? Intoxication, right? I mean, the austerity declines when we engage in other types of activities which are going to dull our brain and mind substance, right? Cleanliness, rampant. What is rampant in today's world? Pornography, sex, rape, lust. There's tons you can talk about, right? Mercy, cruelty, violence, yes, animal killing. Go postal. You know what go postal means? This uncontrolled anger and frustration that will result in tremendous violence. Thailand, this guy goes in, a crazy goes in and kills about 30 kindergartens. You heard kindergartners? Do you read the news recently? That's go postal, man. No mercy. You're completely ruined, right? So what's the truthfulness aspect of, what is the destroyed because of what? Truthfulness, gambling, right? We cheat, speculate. Every day in our life, every moment for that matter, each one of us, I don't know about you all, but I think about cheating or doing something which is not proper. It's there in our minds. It's there in my mind at least, right? Is it okay? So let's go. What are the societal problems that you see because of lack of austerity? Yeah. When you drive a car and you see another person overtake you, what happens? You are impatient, right? Right? So austerity results in crime, impatience. Cleanliness results in prolific pornography, right? Mercy results in cruelty, violence, like I said, go postal. And of course, truthfulness and all that, right? So, these qualities, if we do not develop, you can see already how they are manifesting in our society. Do you all agree with this? The lack of following these principles and how it's impacting our society. Yes or no? Anybody drug-free in this world? In Houston? Drug-free? Yeah. You are, but I'm saying in general. Are they completely drug-free? Not many, yeah. Right, there's violence. So we can see, just because of the lack of practicing these principles, we can see the deterioration of a society all around us. Do we all agree that in principle? Any counter-arguments or any discussions here? Okay. But in today's purport, Prabhupada says, everyone should become a devotee of the Lord, because by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one automatically acquires the other qualities. What is the verse? Yashasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarva gunai tatra samasita suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahat kuno madoretana davato bahi. What is the translation? I was thinking, if Prabhupada said, if you're a practicing devotee, you will automatically acquire these qualities. But can we qualify that? Are we all at that level that automatically these qualities will manifest?
It's by the unflinching execution that one develops it.
Yes.
Yeah. To do devotional service, you have to push it out of your heart kind of thing.
What is the Sanskrit word there? Akinchana. Yes. Unflinching. If you don't have that unflinching devotional service, then forget it, man. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Many lifetimes, we still strive for it. So, the choice is ours. Either we try to improve ourselves, Aroha Pantha, or choose Avaroha Pantha and surrender to Krishna or the spiritual master. Right? Any questions so far? Any comments? Quickly, another 5 minutes. I want to cover the Varnashrama. The Varnashrama system is so important and so exciting. Srila Prabhupada delineates Varnashrama into 3 categories. Spontaneous Varnashrama Dharma, materialistic Varnashrama Dharma, and original Varnashrama Dharma. The original Varnashrama Dharma is also called Daivi Varnashrama. Daivi means divine. So what is spontaneous Varnashrama Dharma? Any takers?
Individuals in a group, they kind of naturally sort themselves.
Well, Prabhupada says,
or modern society, how he would point them out. These guys are kind of Brahminical, these guys kind of administrative.
That is materialistic.
Okay.
Spontaneous is Russia. I give you a clue. Russia. What happens in Russia?
Yeah. They're communists, but they still sort themselves into divisions.
Exactly. So the Prabhupada talks about this. I'm going to give you proof of that. Praman. Spontaneous Varnashrama is a default society that results because by nature, people tend to divide into classes. Agreed? By nature. I go to my workplace, I think I'm a manager, but I'm not. But I do some Shudra activities too. My nature is that I try to fit into society, right? Automatically. Yes or no? Like I like to sing, kirtan. So I'm an artisan maybe. I'm not a full artisan, but so that is my nature. Right? So each one of us, even if Varnashrama system is, you think it is not there, it is there. Because people tend to divide into classes. Yes, agree or any counter arguments here? Okay. That is spontaneous varnashrama. So I'm going to read something Prabhupada talks about spontaneous varnashrama quickly here. In a June 1971 conversation, Prabhupada had with Professor Grigory Kotwarsky, sorry I'm not good with these names, in Moscow, and he says, because varnashrama is created by God, it exists in every society in every age. In Bhagavad Gita 4.13, there is a statement, Chaturvarnyam Maya Shristam. The system was created by Vishnu, God. So since varnashrama is the creation of the Supreme, please note, it cannot be changed. It is prevalent everywhere. It is like the sun. The sun is a creation of the Supreme. The sunshine is there in America, in Russia, and in India, everywhere. Similarly, this varnashrama system is prevalent everywhere in some form or another. Take for example the Brahmanas, the most intelligent class of men. They are the brains of the society. Yes? Elon Musk. Yeah? Who else? The brains of the society. Google, who the founder is. Facebook. These are supposed Brahmanas, right? Yes? The intelligent class. Even here, there are a lot of intelligent people here, right? So we all fit into those Brahmana. So Prabhupada's point is, they are the brains of the society. The Kshatriyas are the administrative class. Then the Vaishyas are the productive class. And Shudras are the worker class. These four classes of men are prevalent everywhere under different names. In Russia, they might be called something else. In France, something else. Because it is created by the original creator, it is prevalent everywhere. Varnashrama Dharma is prevalent everywhere. Moscow, June 22nd, 1971. Yes? So the one that you're talking about is materialistic Varnashrama. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Verse 8. Dharmaha svanishtaha pumsam vishvakshena kata suyaha notpadayad yadi ratim shramahevai kevalam. What does it translate to? Sutta Goswami criticizes this so-called materialistic varnashrama that we talked about. The occupational activities of a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of personality of God. Right? That is a materialistic varnashrama. We saw spontaneous, materialistic. The last one is original varnashrama. How does Parashara Muni define the varnashrama? That's a nice verse. Varnashrama acharavete Purusha Parampuman. It says, Vishnu aradede pantha nanyat yat tosha karanam. So what does it mean? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashrama. There is no other way to satisfy the Lord. So we are supposed to be the followers of which Varnashrama? Yes. But are we? The mixture of materialistic and spontaneous also, right? It's mixed. So Prabhupada, in order to qualify the Varnashrama, he gave 3 principles for us. How to follow this original Varnashrama, because it's contaminated. So he sort of re-emphasized what an original Varnashrama should be. The first point is, Varnashrama should be decided not by birth. Chaturvarna Maya system, Guna, Karma Vibhaga. Not by birth means what? That anybody can be a Brahman as long as they are being taught, trained. Living off the land made it very important. You can see all the farm communities, Bhakti, what's the name? Raghava Chaitanya, and then Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj and all those. Living off the land. And the last one, very important. I'm sorry? Yeah, no, but Kshatriyas come into that not by birth category. But the principle is not by birth, living off the land. The third one is training. Varnashrama college. Every one of us are being trained in Prabhupada's institution. So if you see Prabhupada's books, any book you take, you can see they fall into this category. Living off the land, it's always Sri Radha Nila Madhava ki, Radha Giridhar Giri Govardhan ki, Jai, Nitai Chaitanya Nitai Gaurachandra ki, Jai, Nitai Go Premanande. So just to take away, 3 things that Prabhupada said about original Varnashrama. Not by birth, living off the land, and Varnashrama college. So those 3 things are important. And from a religious standpoint, the principle standpoint, what are the 4 principles we talked about? Truthfulness, mercy, and cleanliness. And those 2 fall under the 4 regs, and the remaining qualities fit into these 4, and that encompasses the human being. Without that, like Radha Govind Maharaj said, we are animals, because this training is there. It should be there right from birth, but unfortunately, I got initiated in my 30s, maybe in my 40s. I didn't know these 4 regs, man. I was doing all kind of nonsense. And I was thinking, oh, I am so proud. I'm following these 4 regs. At least I'm trying to follow. Even now I'm not complete. All of you are, but it's just so difficult, right? But it's supposed to be in part of every human being. Okay, Om Tat Sat. Any questions, comments? Yes.
Some paraphrasing.
Yeah, he said we are all Shudras by nature. By nature. See, like we discussed, what is our core? Who we are? Soul. Right? We also have a subtle body. That is Shudra mentality. Because it comes over from previous natures, our nature. Right? But at the core, we are all Brahmanas or we are all Vaishnavas. We are devotees of Lord Krishna.
So with these 4 things, is there there's like a gross interpretation of it, but what about like subtle interpretations, like subtle intoxication, something that's internal?
Yeah, subtle is like when we say brahmacharya is sex, it doesn't mean just a gross sex. You see, even flirting. My godbrother Radhesham Prabhu, very venerable and respectful, my godbrother, very knowledgeable. He gave me 3 principles. Talking to any woman, anyone, be short, be formal, be up to the point. That's it. If you follow these 3, there's no question of contamination of the subtle areas of a mind or the subtle aspects. Be short, be formal, and up to the point. It can work. I mean, of course, not with Vaishnavas, but with Vaishnavis also, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. So the subtle aspects actually is very powerful. Managing the gross aspects of our living is so easy. To give up the physical aspects of sex or lust or greed is very easy. But the subtle aspects is what lingers forever. Prabhupada says it lasts even until we have the last breath, it's going to be there. He gives an example of this gentleman was it a story in Bhagavatam? I don't remember. I don't want to speculate, but I heard this story that there was this king had a beautiful daughter and he went to his servant who was passing. Yeah, and then what happened? The person who was passing was looking lustfully at the... So that's the nature of this body, the nature of the subtle body, the cravings we carry throughout all these lives. So our only hope is to surrender. What are the 6 principles of surrender? Anybody know? Anukulyasya sankalpa
Pratikulyena
varjanam rakshishyati vishvaso.
He's my maintainer and he's my protector.
Gopyuta varanam, yeah.
And I will surrender everything to him.
Atmanikshepa.
And become humble.
And karpanya is humility.
Karpanya.
Right? So those are the 4. And interestingly, if you see, even Ramanujacharya and all the sampradayas, they say the same thing. Vibhishan, when he came with 4 associates, which is the limbs of surrender. There, in their sampradaya, it's called akinchanatvam, I possess nothing. Ananyagatitvam, I possess no other destination. Shakti, Lord is supremely powerful, who gives all protection to everyone and everything without discrimination. Saralata means simplicity. Lord is so simple that He will not keep anyone sins against them. However sinful he may be, Lord immediately accepts. Vibhishana came and Lord said, yes, I accept you. These 4 principles in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, Akinchanatvam, Ananyagatitvam, Shakti and Saralata, that maps to the Anukulya Sankalpa, Pratikulya Varjanam. If you look at it, Just take as an exercise and you can go read through it. Okay, I'm running past 5 minutes. Any more comments? No chastisements.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Wonderful points. So many things you mentioned. I wanted to get some clarification about this spontaneous varnashrama and materialistic, because spontaneous seems materialistic as well to me. So, did you mean the materialistic in the sense the way it's practiced by birth, and the other one is by nature? Is that what you meant? Could you please clarify?
I didn't have time to cover it, but spontaneous is nothing enforced. Like in Russia, the Prabhu was saying, people tend to fall into those classes, but it's been for an exploitatory purpose. Of course, not to connect with God. But materialistic, by birth. In India, even today, if you go, I'm a Brahmana if I'm born in a Brahmana family. I might be following some rituals very strictly and diligently. That is materialistic varnashram. I get benefits. I know some of my friends, when I was growing up, and my college friend, he was in like Iyengar or a very senior like Vaishnava family and all that. They practice all stuff, and the rituals they do, you could see, reflects on their improvement materially also. They get good jobs, they get good grades. It's natural because you follow. But the principle there, you're following varnashrama gives, it works. There is an impact when you follow varnashrama dharma. But the consciousness is important. If you want material impacts, it will give you material results. But if the goal is to connect with Krishna, then yes. So Prabhupada is so merciful that if you just see how intelligent this personality is, the moment we enter into the temple, what happens? Our consciousness changes, right? We see the deities and automatically we are pulled into the varnashrama college of stuff to connect with Krishna. Automatically, even if you don't want to. I entered this room with so many misgivings. Then I saw Prabhupada and I saw deities and I said, okay, I'm happy to see them. And then you all did some nice kirtan, and Rishabdev was ecstatic today, so I wasn't able to follow, but I was happy. It was like, yeah, this is it, man, it's good. So that's that